Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. I thank you as always for taking the time to watch my videos. Hopefully you do find them informative, and when you go to your local bookstore, you will seek out the book that I'm about to review for you. And the book this time out is Hitler's Boy Soldiers: How My Father's Generation Was Trained to Kill and Sent to Die for Germany by Helene Munson. This is published by The Experiment, and it retails for $36.50. It has been over 75 years since the end of the Second World War, and there have been countless books written about the war. And just when you think everything has been written, another book comes out. And I'm sure in the future there will be more books about World War II, different aspects to the war that have not been written about before. This is a very interesting book. Helene Munson's father was Hans Dunker, and he died in 2005. He left behind his journal, and the author said, well, it was for close to 7 years, she really could not read through it. It was too personal and, really a reminder of what her father was part of back in the Second World War. He was a young boy, and he was sent to a boarding school called Feldafing in Bavaria. And it was an elite boarding school, and he was getting an education. He enjoyed it very much. And then when World War II broke out, things changed dramatically. Hitler started to look for recruits to his army, and he didn't care that they were children. In fact, children were suddenly trained to fight in the Second World War. 300,000 children, mostly teenagers, were selected to be part of the German army. Once the ranks were depleted of the German soldiers, they obviously needed more soldiers to help. So these young boys who had no experience whatsoever with guns and tanks and things like that, they were trained. And for a lot of them, it didn't work out because they were so inexperienced that when they eventually did come up to the front lines to fight, they were easily killed by the Allied forces. The book talks about Hans Dunker's diary, and it's got the exact diary entries. And when you read it, it's very hard to read. The living conditions for these young boys who they wanted to be soldiers were difficult. They weren't well fed, and it really was, almost a fate worse than death for a lot of them. And it's no wonder that the author Helene Munson was unable to read this for quite some time, because in spots it is very difficult to read. When one is reminded of the horrors of the Second World War and Adolf Hitler and his henchmen and what they brought upon the world, it really is a reminder of how far we've come. But have we come that far with regard to today's wars and fighting as well? But this book is most interesting in that Hans Dunker did survive, of course, and he went on to live a decent life till as I mentioned, he died in 2005. But the journal, his diary, is a reminder of the grim realities of what war is about. So if you're looking for a different type of war book, and I know there are a lot of war historians who do enjoy these types of books, and this book is very different. It is a very personal look at the war through the eyes of a young boy brought against his will to fight in a war that he wanted no part of. So Hitler's Boy Soldiers is definitely a different kind of book about the Second World War. So hopefully if you do buy it, you will let me know whether you agree with my review or not. And I enjoy doing these videos. Hopefully you find them informative, and I do welcome all feedback, whether positive or negative. So thank you again for taking the time to watch my video. And until we meet again online, stay safe and stay sane. And stay in touch, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.